Bonjour, my name is Mark, and these are my dice tales. Hello, my name is Mark, and these are my dice tales. And I'm speaking in French because I'm playing a French game tonight. I'm going to be playing from Happy Factory Games, Eden, post-apocalyptic warfare, another skirmish game. Played from 2 to 4 players. It plays in about 60 minutes. It uses D6s. There's a little bit of a deck building mechanic. I don't go too much into that into this demo. I had 2 games in this demo. I was given the Jokers, which are a killer clown faction. I forget the name of my opponent's faction. It's letters like the ISC, and they are samurai pizza killer robots with psychic powers also. So some sort of AI. I don't know their backstory, but they're roaming this post-apocalyptic wasteland and probably obliterating humans because that's what good AI does. Killer clowns, they just think, well, if post-apocalyptic isn't bad enough, we're going to put on some clown suits and batter any other survivors that are out there. Yeah, not sure what that story is either. Not the factions I would know. The robot faction is pretty cool. I've looked up their miniatures and they look awesome. Killer Clown faction, not my cup of tea. I'd probably go with one of the human survivalists. There's a convoy humans, there's Hell's Angel humans. We'll get into the factions in a moment. But yeah, so why do you want to check out this game? Should we get into that? How am I going to get into that? If you like skirmish games, small table skirmish games. So it's a game that can be played within 1 hour, which is awesome. Most war games are like 2-hour epic affairs. So we played 2 games in one night, which is great. Small footprint, so you don't have to carry a bucket load of terrain with you. And I love building my terrain, and I think making post-apocalyptic terrain will be very cool. Post-apocalyptic, we've got, at the moment, what's out there post-apocalyptic? We've got Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Sure, there's another one, Rad something or other from your Warlord game, guys. So this is another take. So why do you like post-apocalyptics? Well, it's Mad Max, it's Death Race, it is Gaslands, it is Fallout. Fallout's awesome, isn't it? And that just brings in so many. They're close to home, but they're fun and fantasy as well. So we've got robots, genetic engineering, radiation, mutants, probably zombies, sea creatures, time-traveling robots. Did I say aliens already? I probably say aliens a lot of times because I've been looking at that faction. It looks very nice. Not enough aliens in my games. Sure, they could, I could drop them into Star Wars maybe. Yep, survivors, gangs, so Necromunda-esque, Kill Team-esque, dare I say it. Guild Ball-esque, some pointers to there. Vanguard, another fantasy skirmish game. So any of these sort of float your boats, then you probably want to check out this game as well. The fluff is it's set in the near future in 2260, so Brexit hasn't happened yet. That we know for sure. Yeah, if you're bored of your 40Ks and your fantasies and you want something a bit closer to home, maybe Eden's worth a shout. So let's go into some pictures. Do we want the time lapse first of all? I can explain more. I think the rules explanation will be better in this slideshow first of all. So what is unique about this game? Number 1 is you've got hit locations. These are the stats of your cards. So a bit Guild Ball-esque in that when you're going to get hit, you're going to be marking off with a marker pen on your card. So put them in sleeves so you can easily wipe it off. You can see that I've got 4 stats. I've got a mind stat, I think they call it Psi. There's a combat stat, which is that bicep icon, which is how many dice you're chucking in combat and possibly range combat as well, depending on your weapon. You've got your torso, which is how hard you are to hit. And you've got your feet, which is your speed. That has a number of actions. That will determine how good you are at dodging. And also if you can interrupt other people's turns and go first. And what else is it going to determine? Maybe that's a bit. Oh, yeah, when you clash in combat, so 2 people engaging in melee combat, you're going to roll off a dice, add this number, whoever rolls the highest is going to go first. So sometimes a charge isn't always going to get you that first hit. Comes up in our game, at least. What else do we need to know? So let's go back to the mind stat, the psi stat. So as well as being how many blows you can take to your noggin, it is also a stat of how intelligent or tactical your army is. So these little dice here, I've got 10 yellow dice there. Forget the dice, they're just tokens, they're stones which I can count out. I've spent two actions, so I'm going to trigger this ability. That's what they're for. They're like command points in Kill Team. I think we call them strategy points in this game. So I think you can use them to trigger abilities that might bring your cards back. You're also going to be bidding each turn on the initiative. So if I really want to go first, I want to spend 3, 4, or 5 of these to make sure I go first. Now, in the two teams that we're playing, these don't replenish. So 10 is my finite number, 5-turn game. Once I've spent them, I'm not going to get them back. If I spend them early, he will be dictating, my enemy will be dictating initiative to me and such like that. So gotta be careful. I like that little bit of resource management. They could also be used in that deck building aspect. So probably initiative, powering abilities on your characters, and powering abilities in your little deck of cards. I've only got 3 of them in this game. I don't know how many you get in a full game. This was 100 points, and I don't know how big a normal game is actually. I'm guessing maybe 150 or 200. Because the starter set I think has 2 more models. I think. Don't quote me on that. We'll get into the details of that. Maybe a faction breakdown later on if I go down this rabbit hole. So, what else have we got? So we've covered the mind. So the mind is tacticals, powers cards, powers initiative. The bicep powers combat. So if I'm clashing in melee combat, there are 2 numbers. The white number is you when you're healthy. The red number is generally you when you've got beaten up and taken wounds. Most of the time that's going to go down, but if you have a look at that middle card between Jorg and Eleanor, Igarevny is the way I'm saying that name. I don't think I'm saying it right. He's a psychopath, so when he's cut and wounded, he's actually going to get stronger. But everyone else is getting weaker when they're getting wounded. So when you're crossing off these white baubles and you've only got red ones left, you're going to use your weaker stat. So back to the bicep stat. So maybe Elena, she's a grunt, so she's probably the most basic card to look at. So if she gets into melee combat, she's going to be chucking 3 dice, because that's what the white number is under her bicep. And when she's targeting someone, she's going to look at their torso icon and look at the value there, and she wants to roll equal to or over that number. So let's pretend Igrevny and Eleanor have gotten a fight, so Eleanor's rolling 3 dice, she wants 5s to hit, and every hit will then cause a wound, and it's going to cause a wound in a location, so you're going to roll another coloured dice to determine where that hits. You can see, so I'll hit you in the head if I roll a 1, I'll hit you in the arms if I roll a 2 and a 3, 4 and a 5 will hit you in the torso, and a 6 will hit you in the legs. Now this may vary depending on the model. Mounted units, you're probably a lot more likely to hit the legs because they're higher up. There might be creatures with big arms where you're going to be hitting them in the arms rather than torsos. And also you might have armour on these places. That'd be classing your equipment area. So this becomes a little bit tactical. So say that I'd maybe taken 2 blows to the head, and the next time I roll hit, I'm actually rolling number 2 on the location, and I'm doing maybe 3 blows to that location. 3 blows to the arms won't kill the person in question this time, so I could spend one of those hits, make it down to 2 hits, and move my location dice up or down a pip with another hit. So a 2 can be changed to a 1, so I'm hitting in head, and that case might kill them. I could spend more hits, so if I had more hits, I could maybe... Every hit I spend, I can adjust my location dice by a pip. So that's pretty cool. I like that. You can almost see it as a storytelling mode that you've gone for a feint, you pull back the blow and swipe around again, and then deliver a killing blow when he wasn't expecting it. So the killer count slides off your sword, and you laugh, wiping the grin off his face. Ha 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 ha. Oh dear me, I get carried away sometimes. So that's that. The torso, that's how hard you are to hit. Probably where you probably got your most hit points as well, to be honest. Did that come up in any other abilities and interactions? I don't think it did. I think that's probably just... Yeah, hitting there is probably not going to be your best job. You want to go for other areas. Yeah, that's what you have to roll over. I think if you cause fear, I think Jorg, if he's bearing down on you, it reduces his special ability on the back of his card, means he'll reduce his opponent's stat in there. So there's combos in these cards. You want to set up combos, so I want Jorg in base-to-base contact with my enemies, where my other guys then swarm around and beat them up because of their reduced stat. That was a simple combo in this game. My opponent had more complex combos with psychic magical powers and things like that. What else do we need to know? The foot, so I mentioned that can be used for interrupting. That's another cool mechanic. So it's not just you go, I go. It's you go, I might stop you there, I just want to interrupt you because my guy's faster. So let's say I'm activating Elena, her speed is 3. So in my gang, 2 other people could out-interrupt her. You don't have to go in any order. I could say I'm activating Vlad, but if my opponent had someone with a speed of 5 or 6, he could say, stop Vlad, I'm going to activate this guy first in front of you. Anyone over 3, so in my case on the cards that we can see here, Jorg and Vlad can basically say, if any of my other 3 were activating, they could say, right, we're going to activate first. I think I need to set up an example where you got you 2. You wouldn't stand it, I know, but I don't like using my same guys attacking my own guys. It just doesn't make sense in a way. If I had my opponent's cards on the picture, I could say, right, you can see if I was going to activate that alien mutant monster, my guy's faster than him, so I can activate first. Things like that. That's what I'm getting at there. And also the speed is used for dodging, so if I'm attacked, if I had a activation left, I could retaliate, which means he's going to attack me, I'm going to attack him. Actually, we don't. We roll off for speed. So when you're in that situation and you're both trying to hit each other, you roll a d6 and add your speed to it. So most of my guys are adding either 3 or a 4, and whoever rolls the highest gets the first blow in, and then the other person does their blow back, unless the person was killed. But if I'm not hitting them back and I'm just dodging, then I want to roll over. What are you rolling over? I think. Oh, I need to double check that on the rules. But you're rolling that many dice and you'll have to roll over. I don't know if it's their attack value or your speed value. Can't be over your speed value because faster people wouldn't want to roll higher, would they? Probably over their attack value, I would have thought, over their bicep value. But I'll double check the rules on that and be more precise in the next video. What else do we need to know on the cards that we can see here? So we know that mine is for strategy points and initiative buying. Bicep is for how many dice you're throwing in combat. Torso is how hard you are to hit. And the speed is how fast you are in combat. And can you interrupt people, and can you dodge quite successfully. Also on the card there's a little block here for equipment that they're carrying. So Elena's got a ranged weapon there. As ranged weapons work slightly differently. You have to roll to hit and then wound with a ranged weapon, I believe. So it's still kind of based on your bicep, but not always. Vlad there has a flamethrower, so he uses a template weapon. I think that's always an auto hit. Pretty much will do a damage to every area and put you in the burning condition. There are other conditions like frightened, feared, and poisoned, enraged, bloodlusted. There's a number in the rulebook. So more complex than Kill Team, probably a little bit less complex or brain burny than Guild Ball. They're the 2 main games that I play a lot. Probably with a similar sort of footprint size and squad sizes, etc. So they're going to be my main comparisons that sort of come up fairly often. Yeah, also on the card you can see there's the costs. So I think I've got Vlad here for 35, Jorg underneath him for 25, 20 Grevny, and the 2 grunts who are worth 10. So I think that adds up to 100 if I'm right. And as I say, I haven't checked what the actual full game list is. I think you can maybe get another model out, I'm sure, I don't know. I'll double check that. This is how it was demoed to me, so I don't own a faction as of yet. So I've been given the rulebook as homework to read. So, well, we got there the yellow dice there, my strategic points. Forget that they're dice, they're just there to move around. So when I'm spending one of the cards in my hand, it generally costs 2 to spend those, or buying initiative. The other dice there, I'm going to put 3 of those orange dice on every character card, and when you activate them, they can do 3 actions. When you can repeat some actions, so you can always move 3 times. You can only attack twice, and some weapons like the flamer say you can only use it once a round anyway. And there'll be the same sort of stipulations and restrictions on the abilities on the back of your card as well. And also there are powers which will interfere with that and block that. My opponent had a psychic field generating robot, which meant I couldn't repeat my actions, so I couldn't move 3 times. I could only ever move once when I was in a certain distance of that robot. I don't know if it maybe needs to look into details of when else was it when I was within the field. If I moved out, could I have then attacked twice? Those are questions to ask for next time. So what else do we need to know? Probably not too much. Command cards, that should be the next picture. So I think each faction has its own command cards, and there's probably a generic pool you can pick from as well. We didn't go into deck building, I just knew I had these 3 cards to play in this game, so look out for an update on them later on. On these particular cards, I've got Violent Knock, which on its basic level added 2 dice to my attack value. Sinister Laugh, that one stops me being interrupted, so though my guys were slow, if I powered this ability, that means that when I activated that unit, he's not going to be saying, "Stop there, I'm going to interrupt you." No, Sinister Laugh. No one interrupts a Sinister Laugh. And Killer Clowns, off their heads, take an acid pill, damage to their noggin, but gives them more actions to have in that turn, so I could move, could do 4 actions. Move, attack. Charge, maybe. Things like that. And do I have a picture of the... No. I tried to take photos of the hidden objectives, so that's another part of this game. Unlike most games where you pick a scenario from the book and turn up and know what you're scrapping over, be it power stones, dragon eggs, or just rudimentary objective tokens placed in a maze on the board. This one, there are your generic cards. I think it's probably maybe 15 or so that you could pick from, but each faction brings their own unique objectives as well. And I know there were 2 types of setup, so you could either do an ambush where you could deploy along the sides and generally get you a bit more up close and in the face of your opponents, as well as just general conversation where you're starting on your back line and then engaging. You could both have ambush, so you're both pretty much in each other's faces, or it could both be confrontation where you're both starting back. And obviously there were special powers on the back of some cards which say, hey, I'm going to deploy anywhere no matter what I roll. No matter what objective you pick. So hidden objectives. The objectives that I chose on that first game, I went for a traitor in my mists. Now there's no traitor mechanic in that it does me harm, but it basically meant that I'm going to write down a name of a guy in my army, and I want him to die in this mission. So thinking of the TV show Gotham, there are plenty of times when Penguin and gang went out on missions and then wanted to betray someone in their own faction just to get a one-up on them in the criminal underworld. So in my first game, the Killer Clowns were picking on Big Brutish Yorg. The guy with the big barrel there, they wanted him to die. Boss didn't like him, let's get rid of him in the next mission, guys. My opponents had a very similar tactic, but he was assassinating my faction. So he wrote down the name of my leader on his secret card, and at the end of the game he would have scored double points if he'd managed to kill him. Spoiler, he didn't kill him, and I did get York killed. We'll go into how that happened when I get to the time lapse. So hidden objectives, very cool. They were killing objectives, as well as killing the named people. You also got points for killing just units on the board as well. So that 35 points that we saw when we were looking at the clowns just a moment ago. There are sort of movement and area-based objectives, where if you're in the quadrants or quarters, there were things where you could place objectives in the centre of the board and you want to be near them at the end of the game. So there's a big variety of there. So depending on which way you're going for a killy faction or a dodgy movie around faction, there seems to be something for everybody. So what we've covered so far, we've covered the uniqueness of this game. It's got hit locations, we've covered the hidden objectives. Command points, we sort of covered that. Everyone has... There's command points and strategic points, so everyone has 3 actions on their turn. You can save them to retaliate if you get hit or dodge, etc. So if you've run out of all your activations, you can't dodge, you can't retaliate. And strategic points, which are those command cards, the acid, the knockdown, the sinister laugh. Cool. Special powers. I was browsing the website today. I was looking at the Mutant Fishy faction. They had special powers like Bloodlust and fear type effects going on. There were robots from the future with time traveling powers. The human survivalists had some sort of healing powers they could pass around, tumbling and hiding skills, depending on the terrain. So, like Guild Ball, every character is going to bring something fairly unique. 1 or 2 of the powers I saw were duplicated, but a lot of them were unique. I think they're going for a lot of uniqueness in all the characters in this game. Also, when I was browsing all the factions, there's lots of pop culture sort of things turned up. So there's your Cthulhu-esques, your XCOM-esques, sectoids, samurai robots, sort of Terminator-esque hunter-killers. I'm going to call him Brains from Goonies, who had the punch bags weapon strapped around his waist. There was a human survival faction who were very technologist and had weapons like that. There's a Michonne type survivalist character out there, and who's it? Rick on the Horse from Walking Dead. So lots of references, Mad Max references, William Wallace, and lots of Mad Max references, aliens, AI, robot things, lots of movies out there, and lots of pulp fiction to draw from. So yeah, just check out the website, lots of information. I think I'm covering everything quite well on this take of the video. Did I cover that it's set in 2260? There is a campaign mode. We're just playing the match modes here, where you're just playing for victory points to see your wins. But a campaign did come out in one of their expansions. Love the hit location mechanic. Love the special powers. Of the games I've played, it's more in depth than Kill Team and less in depth than, say, Guild Ball. Just gonna put that out there. Time lapse, I think. Time lapse time. See what else we can say and spot that happens on the board. So I'm playing the Killer Clowns, and I want to get York killed in this mission. If it does skip into the next mission I went for an area control one. I wanted to try and get my guys into the 4 corners. I got wiped out very quickly. This game ended on turn 5. The second game ends in turn 3 because I was abysmal in it. I'm a very killy faction. I probably should have gone for a killy objective again. Don't know if I deployed wrong or what, but the second game didn't go well for me. Considering you just picked up the rules, you think, oh yeah, I know what's going on now. So probably looking at his guys and trying to bluff him. So if I'm writing on my card, am I writing because I've written down a name of him on my card? I don't know how in depth that secret objective picking will get. Some of the objectives are open, so some of them I was reading up, like there's a team called the Convoy, and they are trying to ferry petrol or water from a tanker to their home tanker and such like that, or maybe escort some of their resistance NPCs across the board, things like that. Anyway, we kicked off this battle here. His little yellow drone at the bottom there, he's got a dampening field that's going to reduce my activations, or make me so I can't repeat my activations, which was quite nasty. I charge Jorgen, because I want him dead anyway, and he's got this big unwieldy radioactive barrel, and he chucks that at the wheelhead robot, his leader. Hits very successfully with 6s, but then whiffs and doesn't even roll a 4+ on like 6 or so dice. So my leader has to take charge, and he moves in because he's lined up 2 characters there. I've not engaged in combat, I've actually just got into a position I can get them both under a flamer template. When you're flamed, you get the flamer condition, so you're going to take damage to all locations, ignoring armour, which is very useful against this army. And then you're going to take a bit of damage as the flames peter out. Yorg, my barrel guy, because his samurai hasn't activated yet, I'm trying to get Yorg in front of his next combat unit. So we've moved on to phase 2. I think I spent 2 winning initiative, so charge Yorg in there. And we've missed a bit because it happened behind that barrel, but my psychopath clown that gets stronger when he gets wounded, he charged across the board to engage his psychic witch. Bad choice, because the psychic witch likes attacking a mind, and the psychopath doesn't have a strong mind. However, the psychopath did have a saving grace. He had a death blow mechanic, where even though he killed me, I wasn't taken off the board straight away, I still had my retaliate back, and I managed to kill her as well, because I was wounded, I was doing more damage. I think I've spent my command ability on him as well, if I remember correctly, where I gave him extra combat dice. And then my grunts are just sort of milling around, getting into range of his samurai there. I was planning to flame the robot, Yorg, and the samurai, but he did that interrupt ability, where he goes first, and he moves his samurai first, and slashed Yorg to pieces, which is exactly what I wanted. And then I still had to move. Then I still get to move my flamer after that activation, and still managed to catch him, the samurai and the robot. The robot exploded, but didn't kill me. And then the samurai moved into killing his leader because that was his mission, and he whiffed it. He's even if he exploded his samurai, he has a what do you call a senputai ability where he could have killed himself and done an explosion to everyone in the area. It would have been only Vlad, but that was the target anyway. Would have left him with no units, so I don't know if that would have been an automatic table or it still goes to victory points at that point. Either way. So I won. Either way, we tossed up the points and said if you did this, if you did that, I think I would have won. It's around about 150 points to maybe 120. So a fairly close game, considering it's the first game, learning and all that. This game is a total wipe for me. You can see those black cards I've placed on my side. That's one of his special powers. He's basically placed objectives, which are those cards, on my table. He's targeted where my men were standing. I had to put a card down. And if he gets his units onto them, he's scoring victory points with them. Unless I'm potentially contesting them. But I didn't pay attention to who I was activating, and I moved my leader up in front of his choppy samurai when I thought he'd activated already. He hadn't. So I wasn't paying close enough attention there that he moved his samurai and chopped me up in pretty much one turn. And then his psychic witch came in and engaged me. I tried to block it with Yorg, but she was very powerful. He was doing a lot of activating sort of psychic powers in this one. Can't quite remember their names. He was activating powers where I needed to roll 6 to hit him, and he did that once or twice, as far as I remember. Yeah, I was totally taken apart piece by piece. We then went on to play Keyforge after this, and we both won a game of that. So we both won one game of Eden each, and then we both won one game of Vanguard each. Vanguard? Ooh. Eden. Happy Factory Games, Eden. That's about it. That covers it. That is the game. That is the bat rep. That is how wonderful the models look, how small the table size is, all the interesting bits that make it different to Kill Team and other skirmish games out there. Vanguard, Guild Ball, other things. So it looks interesting. I like the short playtime. I like the small footprint. I like the post-apocalyptic theme. You may be seeing more of it on my channel. Do you want to see more of it on my channel? So I've got to mention the Forge, the local gaming club, has a tournament for this game on the 29th of June, which is a Saturday. So see if you can make that. I believe we've got some people coming from France. There's some great prizes. I think you can win a faction or two. I don't know if there's going to be a wooden spoon sort of faction. So I think I'm going to turn up. Whether I'm borrowing a faction or picking up a faction, I'm not too sure yet. If I did go for a faction, I'm probably going to go for one of the human ones. The Resistance, the Convoy, or maybe the Hells Angels. They all look interesting. Now, you don't have to stick to your factions either. I did pick this up in some of the rules browsing. You can make a completely custom team. If you do, I think you halve your strategic command points. Don't quote me on that. I don't know where I've seen this rule, but I think I picked it up in a YouTube video. But as well as the faction icon in the top left of the cards, you can see there's other icons in the bottom left. So there's skulls, there's explosions. I think they represent destruction and chaos, probably liberty and lore and such like that. So you can also make up your factions based on those. I don't know if it's just like a mercenary mechanic, but yeah, you're not limited by just being jokers, it seems. And you can also, I was reading, there you can have terrain effects, so like radioactive storms. You can have wandering infestations of beasts on the table as well. That would make an interesting game. So there's lots more to explore than what I've even mentioned here today. And that was just in the rulebook that you're going to get when you get to that set. So yeah, even in a nutshell. Hopefully I've not crossed too far over the 20-minute line with all this explanation and jumping around. I look forward to sort of doing flavor effects on my photos and things if I do play this again, and going into more detail about maybe recording how the fight went when I hit a location, then swung back and hit something else to take out a particularly strategic model, etc. So yes, Mark from Dice Tales, UK first, I think, maybe. I don't know. Can I make that claim? Bold claim, boy. UK first bat rep for Eden. And yes, check out the tournament. Check out Ultramarine Game Club, big there. The Forge Game Club, first play there. And Forge is running a tournament in the UK. So yeah, Eden, Happy Fetcher Games. Did I mention how much the miniatures cost? 35 quid for maybe 3 to 5 miniatures. Same as a sort of Guild Ball team. Just hitting through my lists. Vibrant factions similar to Wild West Exodus. Themed like Fallout, Mad Max, Necromunda gangs. Yeah. Let's wrap it up, guys. Wrap it up. Mark from Dice Tales signing out. Goodbye. Au revoir.